Today, we're going to talk about the introduction of SAT math contents. So there are 5 chapters. Chapter 1 talk about numbers and operations review. Chapter 2, basic algebra review. Chapter 3, geometry review. Chapter 4, functions and intermediate algebra review. Chapter 5, data analysis, statistics, and probability review. So in today's lesson, we talk about introduction of SAT math contents. I have a special guest again, Dr. Albert Einstein. Okay, I just really love Professor Albert, so love to have him in my videos. Okay, so today's video, I want to just introduce a little bit about these 5 chapters in the SAT math contents. I will not go very deeply into the details. I'm going to make individual for each chapter and then give examples on explaining the problem on each section, each chapters in separate videos. So that way we can discuss more deeper concepts. So today just the introduction. Next, I'd like to talk about why they designed these contents in the SAT math test. Because SAT is for the high school students. The exam is for them to take and get the score, be able to get into the good university. So SAT based on the math subjects, courses they learn in high schools. So basically, numbers and operations in their high school, the first year of high school, and then the basic algebra, these 2 usually will be covered. And then geometry is like after algebra 1 class. Okay, after geometry, algebra 2 will mention about functions and the intermediate algebra, a little bit more advanced algebra. Okay, chapter 5 is kind of include other stuff we don't really talk about it, but they are all related to each other. For example, in chapter 5, the data analysis, statistics, and probability are going to use the numbers and operation or some algebra concept in this chapter. Also in geometry chapter, you might need to use some algebra to do the XY coordinate math problem. Okay, so they are all entwined with each other. And then there's some relationship and the connection in between. So I'm going to use a graphic drawing to demonstrate. I'm going to demonstrate the SAT math contents in a graphic drawing, okay? And actually, I already did some pre-drawing. So, for example, if we think math is a language, in chapter 1, numbers and operation, just like you need to know the alphabet or the sounds, how to sound out the vocabulary. So this is the foundation of math. Know the vocabulary. Now you gotta do some writing the sentences or paragraph or a composition. You have to use the knowledge, the foundation knowledge to build the a sentence or sentences or paragraph. Okay, so chapter 2 is basic algebra. For example, okay, we talk about like a linear equation, y equals mx plus b, or a quadratic function, something like that. So after the basic algebra, here I'm going to circle this one. We're going to talk about geometry. Okay, this is one of my favorite part in math because I'm a visual learner. So everything with shape or, something you can see and tell by the shapes or interesting characteristic of the geometry is really fun. But in SAT geometry, it's more complicated than just the shape. Okay, we also need to use numbers, operations, or some basic algebra concept in this chapter. Okay, for example, like in a coordinate plane x, y, and z, if you have a graph, a triangle, then you have to figure out the location of the vertices, something like that. Okay, chapter 4 is more like after you know all the reading skills, then you have to do an essay, more difficult like composition or advanced writing. So functions and intermediate algebra is more like that. Okay, so for example, quadratic function, you can write down in the standard form or convert into the vertex form, or cubic function, or logs or exponential function. In the end, chapter 5, data analysis, statistics, and probability, we apply this in our real life math a lot. For example, a lot of business companies, they use this part of concept to set up for their business models, or you have to know the ratio to do the map or instruction or the graphs. Okay, so this is the real life map. Okay, so let's go over SAT math contents one more time. So chapter 1, numbers and operations, and chapter 2, basic algebra, they are more like the foundation of SAT math. And then move to chapter 3 is the geometry. I already did some coloring and drawing. Okay, this is a very unique chapter because talk about 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional math. Okay, and the chapter 4, functions. Okay, here is more like a little bit more advanced algebra. Okay, in the end, the last chapter is the data analysis or probability, like the real life math business. So if you like my SAT math tutorial video, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.